Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and those of you still on the fence figuring things out, welcome back to another Derailed courtesy of Arcaicskidz. I'm, of course, your host, Arcaicskidz, and we have the beautiful and vivacious Tweets by Britt is back with us. Hi, Britt.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm all right.
You're pissing everyone off on Twitter, and I'm here for it.
Did I piss everyone off? I think maybe one or two.
I think you did your best.
I did. I'm a nice lady. I don't understand what's happening right now.
I just love your Twitter. It makes me just laugh every time. I'm like, oh man, look at you people.
My favorite was all the people that this week that were like, I guess you are a salty bitch. I'm like, yeah, no, that's not an insult. It's literally in my bio.
You should click on the homepage.
Yeah, like you say you're morally ambiguous. Isn't that true? I was like, yes. Again, these are. I'm not sure.
You guys aren't getting it.
Like this is not news. This is not. Are you trying to cancel me with my own bio? Like I wrote it.
I know. It's like I was trying to match up with you this week. So my best tweet that I had so far, well, okay, I've had a couple, but my best one was that I support defunding the police. For every dollar we take away from them, we repeal a gun law. See, libertarians are all about compromise.
Yeah, listen, I am not a like get rid of the police completely, blah blah blah. Like I don't care. I'm not.
I don't either. I just knew that would get the left and the right all.
Yeah, they get so angry, right? So, but I am like fine with defunding. Like there's other ways to defund the police. Like you said, there's how about we just get rid of like every nonviolent crime? How about we do that?
Yeah.
Then the police aren't spending all of their time doing, things that they should be doing.
Which hypothetically means we need a lot less of them.
Mm-hmm. And then it'll defund itself. So if anybody is running for office and telling you that they want to defund the police, they're lying to you because they also they don't.
They don't want to do that.
They just know that you're fucking stupid. So that's my little TED talk. Thank you for coming. My carpet in the background rolled up.
That's so funny.
Yeah, no, it's been a crazy week. I don't even know what made everyone. Oh, CNN made everyone angry. All I said was when Project Veritas posted that basically CNN is trash, what we all already knew. I said, in other news, Democrats are now looking to CNN to tell them that CNN is not a propaganda machine, to which every single Democrat on Twitter decided to hit me up and be like, I've never watched CNN in my life. I'm like, well, it looks like you're stupid all on your own. Like, I don't know what do you think? Like, okay, then it's not directed towards you. I don't know what they were expecting me to say. And they're like, you're getting ratioed. I'm like, that's the fucking point. Every time you guys ratio me, I get 1,000 new followers. Like, I don't give a fuck. This is a game for me. I'm the CNN of Twitter right now. Like, fuck, dude.
I love how like they just assume ratio is a bad thing. And I'm like, not necessarily, especially if that's what you were after.
So my favorite part is the people that tweeted, nobody cares, sweetie, over and over, nobody cares. And then like a bunch of people would like it. I'm like, you and 43 people care enough to like go through my Twitter feed and comment and then keep coming back when I quote tweet you. So I decided I would take a little poll and see. And I just asked, does anybody care what I say? And it turns out that of the 813 people that replied that same day when I made sure I did it with all the haters, about 65% do care.
Well, full disclosure, I voted no just because someone had to vote no.
30, I think like 30-something% of people voted no. I was actually really disappointed because I was hoping that I could screenshot it, and when somebody says no one cared, I could be like 1% of people care. Like I was hoping 99% of people didn't care what I had to say, but there was 1%, and I could just be like, I'm gonna keep going because this
so it
one
backfired.
they need me. So
yeah. That sucks. It backfired. Well, that happens. So, so it turns out even libertarians are okay with attempting to silence voices and censor people, and that infuriates me.
Yeah.
You know, so I had Magnus Panvidia on the show yesterday. It was a great talk, great conversation. Took a bunch of research to find out that the Boogaloo Boys are not terrorists. So there was that. But we had a great talk. But because I had him on the show, a bunch of guests that I had scheduled, which I won't name them, but you know who you are, you cowards, were like, oh, I can't be on the show now. Yeah. And that infuriates me.
So I don't really know who Magnus is.
Oh, you should follow him. He's hilarious.
I think he actually follows me. I'm just
he probably does.
Yeah, I'm a terrible person. I kind of looked him up, and then I was like, I didn't see anything that I was supposed to like be like, oh my gosh, I can't go on the show now for. In fact, I would come on the show when he's on the show. So like not
well, that's funny because I'm gonna like let everyone know that. So I tweeted today that like, 13 people had canceled because after I had him on the show, and that was their reasoning or whatever. And so I was like, two things: you're all brainwashed cowards, and I'm gonna have him back because bite me.
Yeah.
So I have a show with Mark Schneider, who is a nuclear operator. He's been on the show before. We're gonna delve into nuclear more. Well, it turns out Magnus is a big nuclear supporter. So Magnus is gonna co-host my show Saturday night with awesome. Mark Schneider.
That's awesome.
For all those cowards that watch this, don't watch. You're not gonna like it.
I think we're in a time right now where people are so afraid that if they do anything, if they step out of line at all, they're going to get canceled, lose their job and everything. Because some people might. I mean, so it's like I don't know that I'm like full on the like you're coward, horrible people, but like
I didn't say they were horrible people. I said they're cowards. And they are.
Oh no, I'm just adding flavor, but I mean it is kind of cowardly, but at the same time I'm like people have to eat, so I kind of understand. But it's good for you that like your show is like that, like having that much of a splash already. Like
if it pisses people off, you're doing it right, I think.
Yeah.
Like so that's fun. Yeah. So that's going to happen because, it's like, oh, okay, well, you don't want him on the show? Let's have him back. And let's have him back while we discuss something super important for the future of all of mankind. You know what I mean?
Something that we don't want to talk about over and over and over. Because this is why my little 2 cents before it comes on, and then I will learn something after the show when I watch it. The reason that we do not have nuclear and the reason that the left does not want nuclear energy is because climate change is a wedge issue. And if we get rid of it, and if nuclear solves all of the problems that the left espouses that they can fix with taxes, then they have no real issues.
I agree. And I also say that that's the same issue we have with the right.
Well, that's the issue that the right has. I see with abortion. I see it every time.
Sure. Fair enough.
The right easily could have passed a bill in 2017, day one, that largely like that most of the country would have been like fine with regarding abortion. And they went, no, because this weird wording that would end our wedge issue.
Is that what's going on with the left and the right? Is that what's going on with Democrats and Republicans? It's just we can't solve these wedge issues that we basically both parties 95% agree on.
Yes.
They can't solve it because then what are they going to scream about?
I'm in a fight with Liberty people on Twitter right now because I tweeted the government is bad. And because libertarians are by nature libertarians, they're like, is the government bad or are they incompetent? And I'm like, bitch, stop running cover for the government, okay?
Yeah.
They're not incompetent. They've never done anything by mistake. Like, oh, this just didn't work out. Fuck that shit, dude. They've been making it now. You guys, this is not a bug. This is a feature. Like, stop. Like, it's like when we stop saying people are stupid when they're not stupid. They're in charge of your life. You think this is not a sitcom. This isn't The Office. There's not some bumbling office idiot that's up in government. These people know what they're doing. They're actively evil. Stop running cover for them. They're the bad guy.
What's that phrase that it's like never assume malice where like idiocy can work or whatever. And I'm like, except for when it comes to government, just the opposite of that. Assume malice. Assume they're doing it on purpose.
It's like there's people that have sat through 2020 and went, well, that's just because the government's incompetent. Really? Because they serve their fucking purpose. Because that is like
You're about to get a COVID passport.
I'm like, oh my gosh. Sorry. I'm like, I can't with this anymore. It's the same people that say, and I've been guilty of this, like, because it was funny at one time, like making the, like, my guns got lost in a boating accident joke. No, I have guns. I'm allowed to have guns. The Constitution and
they're right here
says it. And I'm letting you know that if you want to trample on the Constitution, I have fucking guns. Yes. Okay? And everyone, stop pretending we don't have them. Tell them we have them so they'll stop being stupid. It's the same thing with people saying, like, I'm going to fake a COVID passport. The fuck you are. Tell them you're not doing
I'm not going to have a COVID passport.
Yeah, like, just tell them. They can't make you do these things if you don't. If we're like, oh, I'm going to be sneaky. You know who's sneaky? Teenagers that are trying to hide from their mother. Grown-ass adults don't have to be sneaky.
How do you think they come home pregnant, bro? They're being sneaky. I think it's funny you brought up the gun thing because I'd made that joke in the past too. Like, I don't know what happened to them. They just disappeared. I don't know. But the other day I just tweeted out, I said, wouldn't it be odd for people to find out that my AR-15 is not even in the top 10 of most lethal firearms I own?
Gosh, I like you. Yeah, like, let's just be, did I lose you?
No, I'm here.
Sorry. I accidentally clicked on you guys, I'm just going to, like, in my other life as a mom, I'm literally putting together an Easter, post-Easter scavenger hunt right now for the neighborhood kids. Nice. So, like, when I'm not, like, railing against the government and stocking up on guns, like, I'm crafting, throwing parties. That's what I do.
So your stimulus check was used to purchase a firearm then?
I don't actually know what my stimulus, like, I wish I had something, like, exciting to tell you guys that I probably just with it. Like,
my favorite things on Twitter lately have been, like, people posting the receipts from their rifles or handguns they bought and just been like, thanks, Biden.
I love that. Yeah. I love that.
I'm like, all right, I can get behind that conversation.
Yeah. So the first check that went out under Trump, I know we bought ammunition with it. So, nice. But I can't tell you what we spent this one on. I actually am not the one that does the bills in the house.
Oh, so, smart. No, just kidding.
Yeah, I like it that way. Like, anytime that my husband's like, what are all these charges? I'm like, I don't know. I don't pay the bills. You should talk to that guy.
That's a good way to get your card canceled in my house.
You know what? You do you, but you're not allowed to meet my husband. So
that's fair. Okay, I accept that. So, why is there not going to be any Freckles and Britt?
Okay, so that's right. I forgot. So tomorrow,
well, I didn't forget.
tomorrow is the last episode of the Freckles and Britt show, and we're gonna have Just for Liberty on, and it's kind of a bittersweet week. You know, this week has been really like kind of crazy. It's the last Freckles and Britt show. The just sorry, I'm like kind of sad. Of one of our friends who's been on the show, official free thinker. I'm trying to like get his exact screen name. I know his real name and I won't say it. He passed away this week, so we're gonna talk about him on the show. He was he was such a great guy, and so it's kind of going to be a bittersweet episode because we're going to try and put in a little clip from the show we did with him a couple months back, and we're going to talk to Just for Liberty, who is doing some great things in the Liberty movement, and she's now like best friends with Justin Amash, which is funny to me that she just decided like they're going to be best friends, and now they are. And then we are going to say goodbye to the Freckles and Britt show. And June 4th, Freckles and I will be back. We will have a whole new show. It's going to be, we're going to have another kind of co-host. We're going to have a different format, different lineup. It's still going to be Liberty-based, but we're going to be doing some different things with it. So we're still going to be interviewing people, but it's not going to be the only thing we do. We're going to be adding in a lot more. So we just think it's going to be a better format, a better show, a lot more upgraded. We're going to have, a writer, so that's going to be good. So we're just kind of changing things and upgrading things. We just thought it was time. We started the Freckles and Britt show kind of on a whim at the beginning of the pandemic, and we had our Zoom cameras. It was just kind of this background where it's like just no big thing and not really scripted, just kind of off the cuff. Sometimes we were both really super high, just
kind of derailed.
Yeah, kind of derailed.
Shameless plug.
And that was great, but now the pandemic's coming to an end, and so we just thought it's kind of fitting to like kind of have that arc, and then we're gonna start back with something fresh and new. We're gonna try and
it's not going away. It's getting rebranded and reintroduced in a different way.
Yeah. I just think it's gonna be better for like people aren't necessarily sitting and watching a 2.5 hour interview now that they're all back to work. So,
yeah, no. Well, they weren't even then. It was like the best. If you look at your analytics, it's like an hour.
Yeah.
On your best show, you'd get like an hour.
Yeah, and we're both on Clubhouse now, so we're doing. I'm doing a lot of talks.
That's disgusting. iPhones are made by slave children in China.
So I'm on Clubhouse now, and my iMac. I'm telling you. You can shame me. I know. You guys, I in college wrote a whole speech on slave children in the Congo making iPhones for like the cobalt that's used to make our technology. So it is what it is. Like I actually I have an iPhone 10. I don't upgrade until I have to. Both of my kids have iPhones because that's what their diabetes stuff works for. That's what we're using. And if you have any sort of smartphone, then you're using Cobalt, and that's how it works. So,
okay. Well, I was actually like kidding because I don't really care about slave children in China, to be honest. Like as long as we don't have slave children here, I'm good with it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want slave children anywhere, but I mean. I don't know how to even answer that. It's horrible and I do it. Like, I can't say like I have any excuse. I just try not to buy a new phone until I have to.
Just messing with you. I don't.
So, tweet my Brit, I'm a horrible person.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think a lot of people have already come to that conclusion on Twitter over the
totally.
last week. They're like, well, she's pretty awful. And I'm like, nope, she's pretty funny. But you all fall right for the trap.
I'm like, I don't necessarily care if like people that watch CNN are mad at me. So their new thing now is like only Republicans watch CNN, and I'm like, okay, sure, Jan. Like, okay.
I doubt that.
But yeah,
Okay.
so I'm doing a lot of talks on Clubhouse now. And so that's a place where we can have long-winded debates and go on and on. And if anyone's on Clubhouse, you can find me at Salt by Britt. I'm also an admin and moderator of the Healthy Debates Club on Clubhouse. I didn't start the club. It was started by some other really great guys. And they were cool enough to say like, hey, do you want to come mod with us? So that's where I kind of have some of the bigger conversations now, because that's where I see social media kind of going. And that's where I kind of see these conversations happening. From the very beginning, I wanted to have more interaction with the audience. That's why we stopped, pre-taping shows and doing them live. But it's hard to kind of talk to someone and then take all of the questions, because of one, I wasn't expecting so many questions. I wasn't expecting so many comments. So we kind of got to where it was like, okay, let's do a different format. We also want to do more comedy. We want to be more entertaining. Let's do that. And let's move a lot of these big conversations to Clubhouse, where everyone has access to raise their hand and ask a question if they want to. So in addition to the new Fab show, which is coming up, it's going to be some version of, the Fab show. It's just not going to be Freckles and Britt show anymore. So we're not going away for good. But in addition to that, Freckles and I are getting close to kind of starting our own club and seeing how that's going to work too.
Nice.
Because I really, really want, the big issue is that Liberty people we want them to find a way to get involved, and talking about it is a good way to start. So that's really what we're doing. We're just trying to open things up to like a wider audience on YouTube and Twitter, and we're trying to move to Clubhouse to have more conversations and dialogue. So,
well, David Fight, who's in the chat right now and viewing, would agree with you that Clubhouse is like, he says it's way better than podcasting as far as conversation goes. So yeah. I've actually been thinking about like how to turn my show into a podcast, because one thing I have noticed is a lot of the feedback I get is people don't watch the show, they just listen to it. Yeah. So they'll turn it on YouTube, but then they'll put their phone in their pocket or whatever and listen to it on their Bluetooth, on their headset or whatever. They don't really watch it. So, that's something that I've been thinking about. I don't have an iPhone, however, so Clubhouse is out of the picture for me. My wife has an iPhone, but I don't think she'll let me borrow it. So there's that.
I think David and I met in Clubhouse, and now we're friends on Twitter too. I can't remember which way it was, but I think it was that we actually met on Clubhouse first, and I think it was in a room that maybe Matt Kibbe was hosting. I don't know.
Like Kibbe and Amash, and see, now I always feel left out because I don't have an iPhone. So I guess I'm gonna have to buy a slave phone.
They're going
just so I can get involved.
I love that you call it a slave phone when literally Android is like
right. But the difference is the amount of money I paid for my phone is slave phone. What you pay for your phones is like if they were made by regular people that weren't slaves. So Apple's worse than Android to me. So
you know what that argument sounds to me like is people that used to get mad at Walmart and then shop at Target. And I used to be like,
it doesn't make any sense. Target's more expensive than Walmart.
It makes Target pays I don't know now, but I actually remember people getting so angry at Walmart because of what they paid their employees. And I worked at Target at the time. I was like 18. And I could remember being like, my best friend Justin worked at Walmart, and he consistently made more than me, always. So, like I was, and if you look back, you see that Walmart paid their employees more than Target on average, but
until now.
until they're pretty close. But Target's trying to be woke in the last.
Target's got signs on all their doors now that's like, oh, we're hiring. We start at $15 an hour. That's Target's like game, and Walmart's like, we still pay $12. But like where I live, if you make $12 an hour, you're okay. Like you're doing fine. You know what I mean? Yeah, you don't need more than that.
You know what? I can't say the same for where I live, but
that's because you live in California.
I do. I know. So. And Clint from Liberty Lock Pod, I get messages from him almost daily telling me, not in these exact words, but basically, you're an asshole for staying in California.
Well, Clint's not wrong.
No, he's not wrong. But here's the thing. I
thought he was still in California.
Clint first of all, Clint's a balla. And I think he just sold his house, and I think he's like getting like some luxury like RV or something, and he's just gonna travel until he finds where he wants to live. Nice. And good for him. Like, he should just go do that. Me and my husband and my 2 kids and our mortgage are gonna probably be here for a while. So in this house, I know the worst part, all my friends are so mad because they're like, all, my Liberty friends, because I had gone up to Ventura to the beach area on Easter weekend, and I just we found a house that's so it's like a block from the beach, and it's 5 bedrooms, and I was just like, gosh, I don't know if I can move to Utah when there's a beach right here. I don't want to sell out my morals and my values, but also
I want to live on the beach.
But I've never not said I wasn't morally ambiguous. This is I warned the people when I said it. So.
It's like, I'm all about freedom and liberty, but this is a beach house. I don't know what you want me to say here.
House, yeah. It's kind of the same thing as when I was like, look, I know I wrote this whole thing about these poor kids in the cobalt in the Congo, but also I really do like my iPhone, and I really do like my iMac. So, and I buy those other, I don't even know, I bought my kids other things, I bought them the Google tablets or whatever. I don't even know how to work them. I'm all of a sudden I'm old people, because I'm I don't know. Kids know how to work it. They're hooked up to the Alexa now, and they've ordered $500 worth of Legos. I don't even know how to turn the thing on. So it's I don't want to learn new things. I don't like that.
So you became a boomer.
Yeah.
You weren't, and then you became one.
And I think what happens is, if you have a little bit of money, that's how you become a boomer, because you have enough money to not have to think about things and figure it out. It's the same
until you get the credit card bill, and then you're like, what happened?
I don't get the credit card bill. Maybe that's the problem.
I let my son use my credit card one time for PlayStation, the PlayStation store. I got a $2,000 bill, and I almost needed a new son.
I've never. So I can remember my parents used to get mad at everything. And I'm I try not to, but I'm going to tell you what a terrible mom I am right now. The things I get most angry about are when I'm annoyed. If I'm watching a TV show and you do something, then I'm angry. But if you I don't know, crash the car, but I'm not busy, I can be caring and loving and be
whatever, we have insurance, it's fine.
Yeah, but if you spill a glass of milk, but I'm watching.
But if I'm watching Law and Order,
yeah. First of all, you don't do this when my Cheers reruns are on. No, no. My kids have ordered without permission to date a $79 Lego set that they actually sent to my brother's house because they're sneaky.
So they knew.
Yeah, they sent it to my brother's house thinking he wasn't going to like call me and I wasn't going to find out. They ordered jewelry. They ordered a what's that thing called? Incense set. Don't even know why. They don't even know what it is. It was just like they said it looked like a smoking dragon.
They wanted to cover up their pot smell.
They're 7 and 4, so
I'm just saying they're starting younger these days. You don't know.
That would actually be mom. So so yeah, the Lego set, the jewelry, the incense. They also ordered a case of taco snacks, which if you don't know what that is, they're like the crappy frozen burritos that we all used to get in high school, like that you could buy in high school, and they don't really have like a name. They're just
or flavor.
Yeah, like they're just like like basically what you're eating it's like a vehicle for hot sauce. Like that's all it is. And so they ordered a case of them, which basically came like freeze dried in a big box, and they were all thrown into a trash bag. And I called, I was like, what is this? And they're like, well, this is how we deliver them to the school. I'm like, this is, let me go off on this tangent for a minute. Why you shouldn't send your kids to public school. They literally feed your kids trash. Like the stuff is delivered.
To the point they put it in a trash bag.
In a trash bag. You guys, I'm not even joking. Like I will find the pictures of like they delivered it in a big trash bag. And I called and I was like, these are kind of defrosted. They're like, oh, well, we'll just, like, first I tried to cancel the order, and they said, absolutely not. You can't cancel the order. So then I called.
We'll replace them.
Yeah.
Please don't.
No, I was like, it's cool.
Just keep the money. It's fine.
Yeah, so I called, and I was like, these are a little defrosted. And they're like, so when that happened, after they wouldn't cancel the order, they were like, oh, they were slightly defrosted. That's fine. We'll just refund you. I was like, this is like $250. And they're like, yeah.
Your kids ordered $250 in trash burritos? I would murder my child.
So bad. So bad. The best part is if you go on now, it's like $79 for the same case. Like I was like, I don't even know what happened. So she was like, it's fine. And the girl I was like, all right. I was like, I don't mind paying for half of them. Like I'm not trying to like talk myself into having to pay for them again, you know? And she's like, they cost us like 3 cents to make. And I was like, of course they do.
That's why we feed them to children in public school and prisoners.
Yeah, that's all who eats them. That's who their business is. I'm not even joking. So I was like trying to get all of these trash burritos, like
giving them out to neighbors. Please eat my trash burritos.
And I told the neighbors, like, that's the text that I sent out, like, hey, these burritos are the I'm not even joking. And at the time, I didn't think it was funny. I was like, just trying to be honest. I was like, these burritos showed up in a trash bag. Kind of. Does anyone want them? And my neighbors were all like, oh, yeah, like, I'll come over with the Ziploc bag. I was like, I've got Ziploc bags. Like, it's I'll separate.
And trash bags. Well, I'll just send them to you the way I received them. It's fine.
It's fine. It was just like the weirdest thing. And people were like, oh, you got all these burritos. And I was like, I didn't get, like, I had to purchase, my child purchased these burritos. And there was a whole thing about it. It was like a year ago, maybe, or two. And there was like Facebook, Twitter, and people were like hashtagging it like burrito saga. Like, I wanted to find out because like I started tweeting about it when I first saw it, and then I tweeted about how it had not been able to be canceled. And so people were like super interested in this. And they were like, send me burritos. I was like, I'm not gonna like, what am I gonna do? Like, here's this burrito that showed up in a trash bag, half frozen. You want me to what? Refreeze it? Pay for yes. It's just,
don't worry. It's back on Twitter now. I just added it.
Yeah, I don't even remember. Oh, no.
Tag burrito saga. And then tagged you. Let's do it.
God. I don't even remember what we were talking about. But
I don't either. But this is why none of my cards are connected to my Alexa. Because children will just be like, that looks fun. Let's order that.
So yeah, this is the other thing. My husband was like, "You need to stop." Like he's always like every month with his like, "You need to stop buying stuff. We're gonna go broke." And I'm like, first of all, we're already broke. Like, let's not be bougie and act like we've got like some sort of slippery slope to go down. Still, we're poor. So
maybe part of the reason you're broke is because you keep ordering weird crap.
it's absolutely. I told him, he was like, "How am I supposed to pay for all this stuff?" And I just told him literally yesterday. I was like, "You should do what I did." And he's like, "What did you do?" I was like, "I married a rich guy." And he was like, "I'm not rich." And I was like, "Well, not anymore. I don't know what happened." But when he's like, you and the kids." I was like, "Oh, because I have to buy stuff for the kids." And he was like, "I'm not even." I don't even.
My response to that would have been, "I'm not going to marry a guy." I'm just saying. Maybe he should look into his response there.
At this point,
but I do feel bad for him because apparently he was rich and now he's broke.
We're fine. I'm joking, but like he is at the point where he was like, "I'm gonna cut up your cards." Like he gets every time there's a bill that comes in now, he's just like, "What did you buy?" I'm like, "Groceries." He's like, "This is a Victoria's Secret credit card." I was like,
"Do you want to see my fancy new underwear?" Is that what you do to him?
And that's what the Victoria's Secret card's for.
Yeah. It's to calm him down when you spend money on other crap.
Yeah, no, always. And that's like, I'm fine. Like if
evil creatures. Women are evil creatures.
Right? If they get mad, you just say, "But like, I understand you're mad. But on a side note, really quick, I just want to remind you that I wanted to give you a blowjob this afternoon." And they're like,
I know, like, "Oh, well, I don't even remember what we were talking about now."
We're talking about right now. I just wanted to let you know that we should put it on the calendar. So like, before we forget. Now he's like, "I don't even care." He's like, it's like it doesn't even faze him at this point.
Now he's just poor and he's okay with it. It's fine.
He's like 49 years old. He's like, "I'm old and I'm broke. You spent all my money. I'm bitter." And he's like, so like, it's like the worst thing. Like he got in a he's so over everything, right? So he got in a car accident a couple of weeks ago, and we were just gonna rent a car until he decided what he wanted, but I don't know what happened. He was like planning on renting a car, and then one day he just said, "Hey, I think I found a car. I'm just gonna buy it for now, and then it's just like a used car, and I'll buy the one that I want when it comes out." And I was like, "Okay, which one do you want?" And he's like, "I don't know. It hasn't came out yet." I'm like,
that is so a dude answer.
Yeah, like I was like, "Are you serious right now?" And he was like, I was like, "Well, why don't you?" Because I was like, "Why don't you get that like BMW hybrid? Because you drive a lot, it's big enough, and then it's it's still like kind of a nice car, whatever." And he was like, "I don't want to get that. I'm gonna get it dirty. I smoke in it. Blah blah blah. I'll be fine." He's like, "I found this really cool Fiat 500. My husband's like 6'1", right? Okay, my husband's 6'1". Okay, so I was like, I'm thinking like, this is not a car. This is a ride at Disneyland. Why are you doing it? He's like, it's what did he say? Like he said it was a stick shift. I don't remember what the term he used. He's like,
standard.
Yeah, he's like, "It's standard. I'm stoked on it. I haven't had a standard since like high school. You gotta go."
There's a little one.
I know, she's you gotta, okay, you could stay with it. So he tells me like, "I haven't had a standard, in years. I can't even find one, blah blah blah." He's like, "I'm gonna be so stoked on it." I was like, "There's a reason that you had a stick shift. Remember, I had a stick shift. If you don't go out of here, you're gonna be in trouble."
Hi.
Get whatever you need, but you gotta go. I'm hungry. Okay, go get food. Okay, go get a snack. Okay. Sorry about that.
Don't worry about it.
So he tells me, no, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's a 2012. It's going to have great gas mileage. And I was like, this is not going to work out.
You're going to hate this car.
Like it. And he was like, no, she said she'd take like $5,000. I've got the cash. I'm like, this is going to be
$5,000. He paid $4,000 too many dollars.
I know, right? So it was like, so I looked and like, I know like he paid under what the blue book is. So I was like, well, at least when he tells me in a week that he hates it, I can just turn it into
just sell it.
I'm going to be able to get what we paid for it. I'm not even concerned about it. Not even a week later. We bought this car on Good Friday, right? He comes home from work on Monday and he was like, I got to sell that car. And I was like, oh. I'd already
like I knew.
Craigslist ad, right? He's like, I can't drive this car.
I already generated the sales ad. It's fine.
He's like, I can't. You can't text and use a sticky. You're not supposed to text and drive. He's like, first of all, don't get on my case. I've had a bad day. I was like, because you bought that car. And he's like, I don't want to talk about it. I was like, you brought it up. Like, I'm like, I don't understand why you're angry at me. And I was just like, whatever, I'm just going to drop it. Like, whatever. So anyways, now he's looking for a new car. And as he's like walking away from me, I'm not even joking. He's so angry and somehow blaming me. And he looks over as he's walking away and sees there's just like the mail is on the count on the like buffet thing in the living room. He's like, why did we get a Target bill? I thought you canceled the Target card. And I just looked at him. I said, you know what? I don't know if you want to open that. That's fine. But just so you know, I had scheduled I put the kids to bed early if you want a blowjob. Like that was if anyone wants to know, that's how marriage works. So.
Well, I think I don't know how we went there, but I think David's still watching, and he he's going to be married one day. He's got a future ex-wife in his eyesight. So there you go, David. That's how it works.
I can't give advice on longevity of marriage. We've been together.
This is yeah. He absolutely was still watching because there we go. Now, longevity of marriage is not something I can give advice on, and that doesn't work for guys. I can't just be like, "You want me to finger you?" Because they'd be like, "Well, I'm kind of constipated," and I'm like, "Well, shit, you want me to buy you something pretty?" Like, I don't know what to do.
Me the cash. It's fine. It's like it sounds like a relationship is so like just all transactionary. It's not. We couldn't have gotten along without.
Oh no, it's funny. Like, and if you can have humor in your relationship, I think that goes a very long way. I think the people that wind up divorced, they lose that like screwing with each other side of the thing.
Yeah.
Like, people
that get like, yeah, where nothing's funny anymore, or where they're getting mean. Like I would never, like I'll joke about a relationship, but I would never. Like I don't understand my friends or people in general that talk bad about their spouse to other people. Like
no.
Nobody's perfect. Nobody's like Instagram perfect all the time. Like you probably shouldn't do that. So
I fight with my wife all the time, but we also laugh all the time.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's just how it's supposed to work, I think. You know what I mean?
We've been together, since I was 21 and he was 32 when we met, and I'm 38 now. So whatever that math is, 16. I think we've been married 12 years. We got married in 2009. I don't really remember. I always forget like how many
Well,
years.
Like my wife and I have been married almost 2 years, but we've been together for 6,
Yeah.
It was basically one of those shit or get off the pot moments.
For you guys?
Yeah. You can't just keep hating this person.
And then tell me, I got to hear that story because I got to tell you how my husband and I actually got together.
Okay. So, well, no, there's not much of a story. It's just we were dating and we got along really well, and and then it was eventually like, well, I mean, we ever getting married? And I was like, oh, that's a thing to you? Okay. And I guess. Like I guess you fit all the categories.
Yeah. Like you seem like a lovely lady, so I will.
You seem marryable. I mean,
Yeah.
so I guess I'll do it.
That's how it all like works, right? Like all of my friends have these great like, and then he took me to the beach and we had this romantic weekend. So
oh, that's not my story.
yeah, I like the real like the good stories that are like those are my favorite, are the ones that aren't like these picture perfect romance stories. They're cute too. I think I'm just not that girl. My husband and I actually, like, of course, I was 21 when I met him. He was 32. So you guys can all exactly figure out like what this was about, right?
So 17 years. See, that's math. That's easy.
Yeah. So I don't math.
Well, you said he was 49, so I did the math for you.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
So he, like we used to go.
Which, by the way, now I know how old you are.
I am 38. I'm going to be 39 in 2 months. So, yeah.
I'm going to be 38 in 4 days.
Happy birthday to you.
Oh,
that's great.
I don't care about birthdays. Anyway, your story. I want to hear it.
Because the thing is I tell people I'm 50 because I look like I'm about 47. So
you don't. That's not true.
So
you made that up.
So we were dating, and he would just like he would take me on all these like little vacations, and we hung out, and it was great. And we never met each other's families. I never met anyone in his life. Not for years. Not for years. Right?
You were his side girl.
I thought I was. I was like, does he have a wife? Because he's.
But were you kind of okay with it? Be honest.
If he had a wife, no, I wouldn't have been.
Oh no, I'm just saying. But you were like, I'm gonna keep doing it.
Wondered, but then I like, I did a little checking up. Like I knew that, like, but I did think that when he went away to do movies, he was like sleeping with other people and stuff. So I was like, is that like, I don't know, like, plus he would break up with me like every other month. Like it was weird. And so when I left for college, I was like living in Bakersfield at the time because I was in college, and he was going to come up, and I told him like he had came up once before when I was sick, and I was staying with my grandma, and my grandma was like, don't marry him, finish school. And I was like, come on, he does not want to marry. Like I didn't have the heart to tell my sweet grandma like grandma, that's not
grandma, I'm a side bitch, she's not gonna marry me.
So I like, and then like we went to San Francisco, and he asked me a question when we were in San Francisco on vacation, and he was like, see, even if I did ever want to marry you one day, like I don't even know what ring you would want or anything. And I was like, you're not gonna marry me, like what are you even talking about? Like, so he tells me like February 9th or February 10th, it was his birthday, I remember. So it was a couple months later, and he's like, I'm gonna come up this weekend and see you. And I was like, can't come up this weekend, dude. He's like, why? And I was like, well, I don't know how to say this, but I think that like, I'm in love with you. And he's like, what? And I was like, yeah, I'm sorry. I fell in love with you, and I want to get married one day, and I want to have kids, and we can't do this anymore, and I'm sorry. And he's like, you love me? And I was like, yeah, dude, we've been doing this. Like I was like 23 at this point. And I was like, so I don't want to get married tomorrow or anything, but I do love you, and I'm sorry. Like it was kind of like weird. He was like, you really love me? I was like, yes, I love you. And he was like, I love you too. Let's get married. And I was like, what? He's like, drive down here today. You can meet my mom. We'll go to Vegas. We'll get married. Like, let's do this. And I was like, what? And so like I told my bosses, like, I don't feel well, I'm gonna go. And like he was like, I just heard you on the phone. I was like, yeah, I'm not coming back on Monday. So I drove down there. I met his mom, really nice lady. She was very like Yeah, he was living with his mom at the time. I don't know what had happened.
He was stacking sats.
He was like staying with him, and she was like, I guess he had told her over coffee. He was like, so Brittany's coming down today, and they're like, and he's like,
I'm getting married.
We're gonna go to Las Vegas and get married. And he's like, she's like, didn't you break up with Brittany? He's like, yeah, we're back together.
That was a week ago, Mom. Pay attention.
Yeah. So we went to Las Vegas, and then my mom called, my sister called, our whole family's called, and basically they were like, please don't do this. Please don't get married. Like, my mom was like, can I just meet this boy? Like, can I just meet him? And I was like, okay, fine. It's like, and well, like, no, at first we were like, no, we're not doing this. We're getting married. We were so sad. I can't even tell you. We were so like, we were in Vegas. Like, we got to the Tropicana, and we were like, okay, I guess we're going to get married, you know? Like, neither one of us were, like, ready to get married. We knew we loved each other, but we were like, this is not what we want. And so then my dad called, and he was like, Britt, if you want to get married, and I was, like, drunk, too, at that point. By the time my dad called, he said, Britt, if you want to get married, like, that's fine. But he's, like, asking me all these questions. And so I hung up with my dad, and I was like, we could get married. I'm like, I want to marry you. I love you. And that's great. And Ryan's like, no big deal. We're going to get married in the morning. All night long, he was talking in his sleep. He was tossing and turning. I couldn't sleep because of this. I woke up in the morning. I was like, I want to marry you. And he's like, I want to marry you too. I was like, I don't want to marry you today. He's like, me neither. I was like, this should be our engagement weekend. And he's like, yes, we are engaged. Let's be engaged. And it was so much fun to not be married. And we just moved in together and lived. Like, after that, everyone was angry because we didn't get married till like 3 years later. We were just engaged for like 3 years, and they were like, are you guys going to get married? Because like after about a year, they were like getting frustrated. And we were like, well, we live together. We love each other. Like, do we need it? And they're like, you need to get married.
We'll get married when we want to.
Yeah. So it took about 5 years, but we did end up getting married.
I think that's actually a good thing, technically. Like, you know, but by the time you actually go through that process, like, I know a lot of people say, oh no, like once you're married and things calm down. First of all, that's not true. No. That's made up. But having that opportunity to live with that person and find all the little quirks that are going to make you insane.
Oh my God. Our first year of marriage was awful. So it was, yeah. I mean, I think people need to know your first year of marriage
is horrible.
It's real hard. I mean, maybe for some people it's great. For us, we had been together, like I said, for 5 years at that point and living together for 3. And man, it was hard.
For some reason, signing that contract changes the game for that first year.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, we're, you know, so
now we're obligated. Like, oh no.
Yeah. And like, we had to really, really be like, because for some reason before when we were living together, it was like, I'm your ride or die. I'm in your corner. And it was like that, like, we're going to stay together because we don't have this piece of paper like we're doing. Then once you have that piece of paper and everyone says it doesn't change anything, and it's like, it changes everything.
Changes everything.
Because all of a sudden you're legally bound to each other. So to be quite frank, you don't have to be as nice to that person because they're kind of stuck with you.
I tell my wife all the time, I have contractual paperwork from the state that says I own you.
Yeah. So it's like, some people I think kind of are like, well, we're married. Like, it's going to be like a whole thing if we, you know, you're just nice to people when you're dating them because there's more like, it's like.
Well, they can just leave.
Yeah. You can't just be like, you know.
And there's nothing you can do about it. You can't like take them to court. You can't do nothing.
Yeah. So, and then it's like, and then I see people that are like, we're going to fix our relationship by having a baby. Like, oh yeah, you mean tie him to you even more? Because that's like a real, like, I know what the plan is when you do that. The plan is not like that'll fix a relationship. The plan is like, I can be even more mean to you because you can never leave Ben. like that's what that is. Like, I'm just saying the thing that's going to get me like told by the women now. But like,
whatever. I mean, if you haven't been canceled, you're not even doing it right yet.
I think I get canceled a lot. So like,
Well, and it's almost like you like took it to super space this week. So good job on that.
I did. I thought the time that someone said you're a fake ally, and I said, bitch, I'm not even a fake one. That I thought would get me super canceled, but no. Coming out against CNN. Like, I was like, who would have thought?
My favorite part of that is I don't even watch CNN. I'm like, then why are you so angry?
The best part is every time they'd say, I don't watch CNN, I don't need to use CNN, I would scroll their timeline and then screenshot where they had posted on CNN, and I'd be like, this you, bruh? And they
and they kept calling you a Trump supporter.
Oh yeah.
Like, oh, you're just mad that like Trump lost, get over it.
I was like, I'm over it.
I'm like, she's been over it since before you got elected.
Like, I never voted for that dude. I literally voted for Hillary Clinton in 2020. So
and that's gross.
You know what? It's the best. Like, you want to shut someone up really quick.
Oh, it's hilarious.
Yeah. Like I have no problem going there. People are always like, my mom was so mad. How can you write in Hillary Clinton's name? I'm like, it was easy. This I wanted.
Just wrote it in. It's not even a thing. Like, I don't know what you're talking about.
How was I supposed to get this reaction if I
didn't? You were pre-planning trolling people. That's what was going on.
I wrote in 2016's Hillary Clinton. Like, I knew what was going to happen when I took a picture and posted it on Twitter.
They're gonna go bananas.
If people don't realize what I'm doing at this point, like, I mean, I can't help them at that. But yeah. I don't know.
Such a good time.
People were and they were mad because I had said, so are we just, I said, did Cuomo killing all the grandparents and sexually harassing all the aides just go down the memory hole? And people were so mad at me for that. They're like, he's being investigated. I'm like, so I can't mention it? Like, who's he being investigated by? The government?
The same people he controls?
The people he hired? Like,
yeah. Oh, turns out he didn't do anything wrong. That's why when people do this, like, we're gonna run a real quick cop conversation. I know we're coming up on an hour and you're limited on time. The neocons especially will say, well, they have internal affairs. And I'm like, oh, cops investigate cops? There's no way that turns out wrong. Like, what?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Like, they're like, no, they're different. I'm like, really? Are they different? Are they plucked out of the police academy and turned into internal affairs? And they're like, well, no, they proved themselves. I'm like, as a cop? Like, kind of seems like you're not seeing
they don't
the issue.
It's like they do. It's like they will find any synonym they can to, like, it's.
Oh man, the bootlickers on the right.
I told someone who immediately blocked me after they said, Cuomo.
I'm sure by mistake, as Michael Malice had put it. Oh, I got blocked by mistake.
Always by mistake, yeah. They said, like, he's being investigated, and I said, by the same people that investigated Trump.
So you didn't get blocked. You got blocked because they felt so stupid. They were like, I never want this woman to hold this against me again. That's what happened.
I'm a nice lady. I just ask questions.
That is the greatest answer probably in the history of ever.
This is it's like, what you want all of, like, why would I believe that? Why would I believe, like, it's the same.
I wonder if they had like a meltdown in their own body, like, I don't know what to do. They probably had to go check into some kind of extended care facility for mental health. That's so funny.
I telling him after that, like I would be like, can someone update the software on the NPCs? Like, I was getting so tired. I'm like getting so tired of the same. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. What about Fox on the CNN thing? What about Fox? What about Fox? And I was like,
I've seen you tweet about Fox being a propaganda network.
Yeah, I'm like, I tweet about Fox all the time. Like, dude, why, or the guy that thought they were like so smart, or no, the girl, she thought she was so cute. She was like, oh, that's great. Now do Fox. And I was like, I just did. And I like screenshot and she blocked me, but then continued to talk shit behind the block. And I was like, I like wrote her on one of my alts and I was like, so you're just going to talk shit behind the block? And I said, you could block this one too, but I have 9,000 followers and about 899 of them are alts.
That's hilarious.
Oh, it's my favorite. My favorite is that, and I don't know if we talked about it on this show before, and I know we got to go, but I have people that they hate me so much. They're like such hardcore like resistors, and they follow my blue wave alt and run conversations. And I screenshot the conversations that I have with them in the DM rooms because one of my alts is followed by almost every big blue waiver. No clue. They have no clue. So and I don't ever tweet anything from this alt that is like actually like I tweet things that are like very libertarian, but I say them in a way that would make them like not
in a very progressive way.
Yes. And they always like they don't realize I'm like, how do they not realize I'm trolling? And this is what I figured out.
They're not that right.
Yeah, this is why how the left gets so many followers, because they have like this hive mindset. And I thought that the MAGA people had the same kind of hive mindset, and some do, but surprise, one of my alts is a super MAGA dude too. And they're not the same. Like MAGA people are sus AF, dude. They're like, no, something's not right here.
They're like, something seems fishy.
There's a disturbance in the force. Like they know right away.
In the force.
Like, and I'm like, I can't even like get into the, like I try so hard and like
no, they can pick that apart pretty quick and they're like, this is the dark side. We got to get out of the dark side.
Like they're always sus. Like the left thinks that they're right. Like the left actually thinks they're the default position people in this country. Like they really don't see how insane they are. So they're just like so when someone tweets like wildly insane things, like they were talking about the insurrection at the Capitol and
riot.
This
shitty one at that.
Well, they were calling it the insurrection. I actually call it an unguided tour. So like,
that's great. That's what I'm calling it now. Like, unguided tour of the Capitol.
Yeah, so I call it the unguided tour of the Capitol, but I don't use it on my alt at all. I call it the insurrection. So somebody was saying something about the insurrection at the Capitol, and they were talking about the senators, and they were like saying something, and I said, I can't say exactly what I said because people will know, but I said something that ended up getting me like in trouble on my alt for like 12 hours. But it was something super like liberty minded, basically to the tune of like, yes, I do agree that every person in Congress should not have been there, but like but they shouldn't have been there because they should have been
their heads should have been in baskets.
I didn't say it.
I said it. I don't mind. Throw me off YouTube. I don't care.
So I've already gotten one show kicked off this week, so I don't want to get another one. I
don't care. I'll just start a new show.
I got Punk Rock Libertarian, our show on Punk
Rock.
Oh,
no. Really?
Yeah.
Good job.
Because I was like, I told them, they were like, dude, Britt. I was like, first of all, I was just giving information, okay? But anyways, so yeah, but before I said that, I had so many likes and retweets, and I think that's what caught my suspension. but they didn't realize that they were like what they were retweeting was. They never do. They don't realize what they're
No,
retweeting
because
was
they're
like.
not that bright.
No,
Like a computer program had to figure out what they were like liking and retweeting.
yeah.
And then
So-
it was like, oh, no. Let's stop this nonsense. That doesn't fit our our terms of service.
Yeah. So, and there's the
Stupid
best part
bastards.
is the only people that have figured it out. It's so delicious. I just have to share. Okay, the only people that have figured it out are other people that are alts that are like parody alts like
that are doing the same thing.
And so they'll DM me and be like, I know
Britt, that was awesome.
They don't know it's me. Like they don't know it's me. I don't know.
Whatever. I don't know. I know I'm going searching, and when I find it, I will find you. I'll be like, this was you. I don't have any alts. Maybe I should get a couple, just mess with them even more, because it might be funny.
People have no clue. I'm so many alts that people don't even.
That's awesome.
And I will say this: none of my alts follow my main account. So that.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah,
that's probably where most people get in trouble.
I think so. Like I
don't follow the other one. Like stay in your bubble. Stay in your lane.
Yeah, like, I don't follow my alts, and they don't follow me. Like they're my side chick.
I don't even know. This is where I run into it. People follow me out of like nowhere, and I'm like, well, first of all, of course, there's always the women that need some financial help, right? That always happens.
That happens.
But then like random people follow me, and I'm like, I don't know who you are. And so basically, I've just come to the conclusion that if no one I follow follows them, I'm out.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm good.
I've
never had the I've had one. I have one woman that I'm pretty sure is like there's just an auto bot that on one of my alts that keeps sending me messages, and I'll send back like what at first I was like, listen, whore, but then I was like, why does this whore keep tempting me? Like I'll just like go on like a soliloquy about her whoredom, right? And not that I care. I don't care what people do. But and then she'll just send me another, and I was like, okay, so it's a bot. But then one day she wrote something back that I could tell was real.
Was written by a human.
I got to her, like a little bit.
You upset a bot?
I was like,
oh. That's perfection.
And I don't have characters.
Big fan.
I don't have characters like in mind. Like I'll have like something in mind when I create these, and then the character kind of develops over time. And I have one friend, and he knows who. I have a couple of friends, but I have one friend, he knows all of them. Mm-hmm. And he was like, can I ask you a question? I'm like, sure. It's like, is there something going on with you that you've created all these personalities? I'm like, I just
probably
can't say all of the things that I need to say on my main account. He's like, really? Is there anything you haven't said on that main account? So I think
there might be a little schizophrenia going on there.
There's no schizophrenia going on. Absolutely none.
Kidding. I'm kidding.
No, what's going on is that I want to troll, but I know that if I do it with my own account, then I'm gonna get banned.
Yeah.
I mean, the reason I've had my Twitter account since
it's defensive. You're protecting your account. I get it.
So
like no, 100%.
I have to do it with the there's like there's a reason why I do it, and really it's because I tried to be very highbrow about the whole conversation of liberty and in the liberty space, and I tried to talk to people and reason with them, and you can reason with people that agree with you in this space. You cannot reason like you can on other forums, but on Twitter you can't reason with any leftists or anything. They don't want to hear it. They just want to be angry. They just want to. So it's like whatever. Then I'll just troll you. This will be
That's why most of my stuff now is just designed to troll the right and the left, just to screw with them and hope that like one of them will go, oh, that's interesting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the whole point.
I do have conversations, like I said, if you're on Clubhouse, I have conversations with people that disagree with me most of the time. That's where I have most of my conversations. And we have consensus sometimes, and sometimes we don't agree. Um, but Twitter is no longer the place. Like, when I'm talking to Twitter, I'm there for two reasons. I'm there to talk to the people that I agree with in basically my echo
And
chamber.
troll everyone else.
Control everyone else. Yeah, that's what I'm there for.
Mine is to talk. Same thing. It's to get guests for the show when I want to have conversation about whatever. Like I have Alex Hatch coming up next week at some point. We're going to talk about education, but mainly it's just to troll people because it's funny. Like it just humors me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I kind of saw what was going on too. The people that get really like big in the liberty space are not usually the ones that are saying like the most poignant thing. You know,
No.
like there are people that are smart.
You kind of gotta get in a circle jerk.
Yeah, and I get frustrated too because I see a lot. Like if I'm being honest, there's a lot of people that I know. We're mutuals and stuff, but I'm like, really? Like, I don't, like, I know what you're saying when you say that. It's not stunning or brave. So, like, when I see that kind of.
I've had people request to be on my show, and I'm always busy.
Yeah. I don't.
Because I'm like, you know what I mean? My schedule's just full. You know what I mean? And it's because I know what you're gonna say. There's no point in having you.
Yeah, you know when somebody's, it's like I don't want to hear, and that was part of the show where we're like, let's change this format. We have had really, really great guests, but
you've got some funny ones.
Thank you. We've also had some guests that kind of you could tell they give the same kind of talk every time they go somewhere, and it's like I don't want that. I would rather have smaller people that are really entertaining than like the other way around. And we've had guests that were like really commercial that are my favorite guests. Like we had Austin Peterson on, and I know he's very polarizing in the liberty community, and I'm like, he was one of my favorite guests.
I think he's funny.
Funny too. And you know what the thing is like him choosing for himself what he wants. It's like, how much more libertarian do you get than that? Like people that are like, oh, he left us for the GOP. It's like, here's a news flash. Nobody, like everybody always says like, you know, the slippery slope to like libertarianism is always like going to be anarchism.
Right.
People tell me all the time like, oh, you'll stop being a minarchist one day. And I'm like, I've already done the anarchy thing. Okay. Like I've made the J back to minarchism, but libertarian is not, I don't think, a place that most people can stay because one, you start to get where you're like, fuck all of the government and all of it and everything. And let's just have nothing, which is where I'm at. But like, I know that people are going to people. So I'm like, I know what's going to end up happening. But then there's the people that are like, oh, fuck all the government, fuck everything. Everything's awful. How can I make a change? How can I change? And so then they try and get in to like libertarianism, and then they see that it's kind of doesn't go anywhere. And so then they're like, how can I get into the GOP and infiltrate in there? And to be perfectly honest, I'm not mad at it. Like if you want to,
I understand it completely.
I mean, people get mad, but like to me, if you get mad at somebody, bless you, for doing that, then it's like you want the party to win over like liberty to win. And I'm like, I don't care.
Eric Brakey is a Republican, and he is probably more libertarian than most of the people that are quote unquote libertarians. He sees it different. He's like, well, infiltrate the Republicans and we'll take this shit over and then we'll be the Libertarian Party, but we'll be called Republicans. I get the mission.
I'm sorry. I know we're live. I hear one of my kids screaming in the background. I have to like put this off right.
I'm gonna let you go. Bye.